Welcome. This is a very unique class where we are trying to understand a right strategy for writing the answers. Now here on the same question, that is writing a note on food security, we have three answers. So let's compare. If an examiner looks onto these three answers, what are the things that would be positive in each of the answers and what are things that would count towards negative in each of these answers, and that would give you a deep understanding on how to write a good answer. So to begin with, the very first answer here, write a note on food security. With climate change, do you think this issue has been burgeoning up? Now here the introduction has been explaining about food security. Then the four major pillars of food security, which is availability, access, utilization and stability, have been explained. This has been brought with a concept map. Now this concept map, as you can see here, again this answer also has the same concept map, but there is a little difference between the two kinds of maps that are drawn. Now we'll understand into detail how this should work, and we'll proceed with one answer on a time, and then the issues related to food security. Now the question asks about a note on food security. So the first section is perfect. Here we have been indicating about the four pillars and what is food security. Again, the second section talks about with climate change how this issue has been getting a problem. Now here the issues related to food security, this has been generalized in the sense it has been linked to economy, it has been linked to health, it has been linked to agricultural issues and then effect of climate. However, the question is asking only about effect of climate. So this portion which is about the effect of climate is useful. The other section is actually not related to it, because if you want to address the first part of the question, which is the issues of food, write a note on the food security, and with that regard if you are writing the issues of food security, this should be concise, not an elaborate explanation of 1.5 pages, right? The next is effect of climate change on food security. So it focuses on extreme weathers, global climate risks, the various steps taken by Indian government. Now this is an important indicator. But again, if we move on to the question, with climate change, why this issue has been increasing? That's what has been asked. It is not asking about the preventive measures that government is taking. In case you want to include these steps that the government is taking, this should be very summarized, not of one page. So that's some of the points that we have jotted down in the very first answer. Now let's move to the second answer here. Now what is food security? It has been concisely explained in just this half page. This is just half page but has a huge lot of information. It talks about the security, insecurity, it talks about the various dimensions of food security and insecurity and the distribution. Also with that there is global trend that is mentioned. So this section appears to be a perfect section, but one limitation. When it is talking about write a note on food security and you are just putting in graphics, it's important to at least explain these graphics in 1 or 2 lines. So this concept and dimension, if they could have been explained in 2-3 lines after the diagram, that would have made this answer a perfect answer. Okay, the global trend, extremely important. One good suggestion here, if you could cite the reference, this has been taken from WHO report or this has been taken from World Hunger report or whatsoever. So if you could cite the report and the year for the same, that would have been a perfect addition to this answer. The next is impact of climate change. So a to the point answer, I would say, despite this answer is just 2 pages, this answer is 5 pages. In this answer there is lot of irrelevance. Irrelevance in the sense there are things which are not directly asked, and even if you want to include that as your answer, it should not be that elaborate, it should be concise in nature. The second section that has been covered is impact of climate change. See how perfectly it has been mentioned, the 4 points, the changes that would be seen, and whether these changes would be positive or negative. So very nice way of depicting it with the effects. A very clear, concise, precise way of explaining it. Now, with this, there are certain things which have been illustrated in the table and have been written in the explanation again. Solutions have been given. Now definitely, as I said, solutions are not being asked, but this kind of solution where you are just writing 2 or 3 lines would be a good way of mentioning a solution. If you could reduce these solutions further, it would have been further good and increase the impact of climate change on food security. So it's not just the impact of climate change in terms of carbon dioxide, sea level rise, temperature and precipitation, but beyond that, how food security is affected, right? Which pockets of the world are facing more severe conditions? So there would be drought conditions in some area, there are increasing flood conditions in certain area, inundation of the coastal areas. So those points get missing here. So those are the points that need to be included, despite I'm saying this is a very precise, concise, good answer, right? Let's move to the last answer here. Now here, the food security, food security starts with the report of the World Food Summit. That's a good way of starting. So definitely this World Food Summit 1996 final report states that is a good way of starting, right? So this is something that can be definitely incorporated. And then the 4 pillars are again explained here as the case of other 2 answers. So those are availability, access, utilization and stability. But again, if these could have been mentioned with a simple concept map, and within the concept map, when you are mentioning the 4 A's, below in the explanation you can write these are the 4 A's and their main highlights are these. Along with these 4 A's, these are the initiatives in each of the section that government has taken. So for let's say accessibility, what are the steps taken by the government? For availability, for acceptability and adequacy, what are the steps taken by the government? So within those explanation below, you could have included that. Again, writing is a little issue here, but again I would like to say that writing is something that you cannot change in the last moment. So it's a good idea to keep focusing on the concept. Where you feel your writing is not clear, not legible, it's a good idea to capitalize the content. Once you capitalize the content, your writing loopholes get hidden, right? The next is effect of climate change. Now again, effect of climate change, 7 points have been written. But as you can compare this effect and this effect, you can yourself say from answer 2 to answer 3, which effect would be more convincing to an examiner? Definitely the center one. The reason being, the points come out very clearly. Here I would have to search, okay, increase in the frequency of disasters, okay, higher temperature, heat waves, disturbances in distribution. Now this is a point that has not been mentioned here, right? So this 4th point is an additional point, but it is hidden. So it's not required that you put it in a table. Even if you are putting it in a point wise, a good idea is to merely underline the issues. Now if you are underlining the key points, you are bringing out something that examiner should instantly focus on, and that's a good way to actually score good when you are writing your answers. So despite this child has written a lot of explanation here, the things are not coming out crystal clear. So good idea would be to mention, you can just put the key point, higher temperature, colon, and write it. Or when you have written the whole paragraph, just underline the key point, so that it gives a clear visualization. So those are the 3 different answers, as you can see. And now you would be able to compare what is the best strategy to write an answer for UPSC. Definitely we are evaluating the answers regularly, so you can send those for feedback. Below is the link for more details on the answer evaluation. Wish you very good luck for your preparation, and we'll be coming forth with numerous interesting topics and content important for your UPSC preparation. Don't miss.